Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you're all doing really well. I have my coffee this morning. I hope you have coffee, tea, some kind of a warm, comforting beverage, especially if you are located where it's a bit colder this season. But regardless of where you are in the world, I hope that you are having a wonderful start to the week. I've been really enjoying doing more regular videos on the channel the last couple days. I've been putting out a lot of additional content. And this shift in the YouTube channel has been actually really reflecting the powerful shifts that I've been picking up on in the full moon in Gemini that we experienced yesterday. So let me know in the comments if you've been feeling some new inspired or creative energy from this full moon in Gemini. Now, of course, we all do experience these energies differently. So I'm very interested to know how they are affecting you personally. Before I get into the reading, I also want to say that all of these messages are meant to be collective. They are general messages meant for different groups of people. I like to say that we are kind of channeling into different threads of energy. So always use your intuition and only take what messages seem to align for you in a personal and intuitive way. Okay, so I have been doing this exercise where prior to these recordings, I've been writing down some things that have been coming through as downloads. So there were a lot of very powerful downloads coming through for a specific group of people connected here on this channel. And so many of these downloads actually seem to be around you sitting on this gold mine within yourself, meaning, and I heard right as I was about to start recording, actually, your gift is stronger than you know. So I feel that for the person I'm speaking to, you have a specific gift, talent, or ability, or maybe you have many of these, which would make sense because the idea of you being very multifaceted, very multidimensional, even wearing different faces, so to speak, wearing different hats, as we say in the expression, doing different roles, but all of that actually, well, I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's just coming up here in the energy. The idea that you are kind of like this diamond, which actually makes sense as well, because just like a diamond, you've been under immense pressure in your past to become who you are, that's formed you into this beautiful, valuable diamond that you now are. But also, like a diamond, you have many different faces or facets to you. And just like I actually pulled this direct quote because I thought it was so powerful. More facets can enhance a diamond's ability to reflect light. You are the diamond. So I feel like that is a really beautiful message to set the tone for this reading, because you are like that diamond where you do have these many facets, angles, aspects to your beingness, to yourself. You may even have many different projects, many different dynamics that you are engaged with, many different roles that you play in this life. And at times, you may feel that kind of pull, which is really just the matrix trying to pull you back into conventionality to tell you, well, you have to choose just one pathway, just one idea, just one business or creative project or idea. I already said idea, but that's being emphasized for some reason. For someone, maybe you have multiple ideas that feel contradictory, but your guides are trying to come through and say they actually all enhance your ability to reflect light, just like that diamond. But here, when it comes to you, we're talking about light energy in the way that you are a light worker. You have this ability to hold and reflect light back to others, back to planetary consciousness. And you're having this massive positive impact on the planet through doing that. And again, it involves actually I'm hearing all of these different aspects of you are allowing you to hold more light and to reflect more light back to others in a sense. So I know we're talking at such a quantum level already in this reading, but all of these readings really are co-creations of all of you out there listening. So I know someone must be manifesting through these very quantum level messages for a reason. And of course, as always, thank you for being part of this co-creative process here. But okay, let's get back into some of the initial thoughts that were coming through in this download. So I'm speaking to someone who is doing things in a very unique way. And again, part of this uniqueness, this unique way that you are going about doing things is simply because you are going about creating in a way that is expressing many different aspects, facets, dimensions of yourself. And the quote came through, you can exist in multiple dimensions and express multiple facets of yourself, all in the same physical body. So again, for someone, there may be this sense of internal kind of conflict where you've felt this pull to maybe choose or solidify one aspect of yourself and make it everything, one dimension, one timeline to kind of lock in something. But that is very contradictory. And the reason it's contradictory to your nature is because you are meant to be living as this sort of glitch in the matrix, as someone who is completely unbounded but grounded. Unbounded but grounded. You are completely free. You are made up of so many different talents, abilities, gifts, ideas, many of which have been lifetimes in the making. These gifts that you have that I'm referring to here, whether these are things you can consciously identify that you do or that you enjoy doing, or whether it's more unconscious, this more subtle effect that you have on a room when you walk into it, on people around you when they have the privilege of connecting with you or communicating with you. Regardless, these gifts have been developed through lifetimes. That is why you have certain things, natural abilities, so to speak, or natural proclivities, things that you just felt so drawn to even as a child, because you weren't learning those things for the first time. You were remembering how to do things that you've known how to do for lifetimes. You've been building up a skill set on a soul level through lifetimes that you are now expressing in very multifaceted, multidimensional kinds of ways. And that's the way that it's meant to be. I'm just hearing not to resist that or try to restrict that, because that is when you're at your most powerful, when you are allowing yourself to express all of those facets, all of those aspects of yourself. Now, to assist you in this process of expressing all of these aspects of your soul, really creating the life of your dreams, I really recommend my Subliminal called Ultimate Alchemist Transformation, because you are the alchemist of your life. We'll be getting more into exactly how you are this alchemist, how you're transmuting energy. But this subliminal is really designed to tap you into that full power and potential to help you manifest your dreams in all areas of your life. It will really help to get that energy moving in so many different life areas, especially if you are feeling a little unfocused right now, or you're feeling all of this creative empowerment, but not really sure exactly what to do with it. This will really help you begin to channel and direct that energy to get things moving in increasingly positive, exciting, expansive directions in your life. Subliminals are so powerful because they work with the subconscious mind, which controls 95% of our thoughts, actions, and outcomes in life. They contain affirmations that are capable of bypassing the conscious filters of the mind, which is why it allows them to deeply reprogram these positive affirmations into your subconscious mind. And this is why with subliminals, you can experience such positive, fast results, shifts, and changes when it comes to manifesting in your life. I've personally seen this in my own life through using subliminals and seeing more results than with any other manifestation technique or tool I had tried previously. So I am so passionate about them and so excited to be sharing them with you through my Subliminals app, sound, and soulful. In this app, you can access over 130 subliminals for every area of life, for love, money, relationships, energy clearing, manifesting specific things, and so many other things as well. You can create your own custom private playlists in the app. You can read the affirmations while you're listening, and you can even loop your playlist to listen overnight while you're sleeping, which is one of my favorite things personally to do to really reprogram my subconscious mind while I sleep. So the link to download the app and try out the powerful subliminals I've created to manifest your dreams in your life, the link to this is in the pinned comment and description box underneath the video. Okay, so let's talk about you being the alchemist, since we were referencing the Ultimate Alchemist Transformation Subliminal. An alchemist is someone in ancient lore who was capable of taking raw materials of very little value and transforming them into precious metals. And I'm hearing you are the alchemist, but you are also the creation. You are also that raw material that you transmute into the gold or the silver or the diamond or whatever precious material you want to think of. And you're simultaneously both of those things and the one transmuting them, the alchemist that is transforming the rugged raw material into gold. So what I mean by this is there is this deep reservoir of creative energy within you that my guides were referring to as I was getting these downloads as a gold mine. And it's funny because I got this envisionment of the Wild West or one of those old Western movies. I was seeing the movie set in my mind. Now, maybe someone literally is an actor or an actress, so that might be relevant for you. But really what I was getting from this is the symbolism of someone really being on the frontier of something. And it's funny because a quote that came through in a previous channeling that I was writing, but that I didn't actually share in the video because it just didn't come up, but now I know it was meant to come up here. The message was there's a fine line between brilliance and insanity, which of course is a very common phrase that we hear, but I almost feel as though you're walking that line in a sense on this frontier of what people believe is possible, paving these new pathways in a way that may astonish people, but also can be a little bit intimidating. A lot of people, it's like they're wondering how you're doing it, how you're going about cutting these new pathways in the frontier, so to speak, creating forward in new directions that have never been created in before. And it's funny because this is calling me back to something that I wrote down earlier today that we actually talked about in a previous reading, which is trust. It's like trust is the answer to that question. How am I doing this? Trust allows you to move forward with confidence when you don't know the way, but you can sense the way. That's what came out in a prior reading. So maybe one of those prior readings will be relevant for you as well. But I'm hearing know the value of your gifts. Once you recognize the gold mine, it becomes much easier to consciously access it. So there's a very powerful message coming up here around really beginning to recognize yourself for your gifts and abilities out on this frontier of whatever you're creating, even before other people may be fully able to comprehend them. Because again, you're kind of walking that fine line between insanity and brilliance, as we're saying here, where the things you're doing and creating, other people may not yet believe in or be able to see, but they will. They will be able to see that gold. They will be able to see what you're transmuting, what you're creating, but it requires you to believe in it first and to see it first. And that's kind of the trick that I see coming up here. The trick is, how do you really lock into this knowing of the value of your gifts and what you're doing with them and what you're creating, even as you're out on this frontier where other people aren't able to fully see or comprehend those pathways that you're carving yet. And I got the quote around this because I was really getting this kind of gold rush imagery too, thinking about how people would go out mining in areas that they heard had gold, and other people might think of them as crazy for totally transplanting themselves just for this potential opportunity. But yet many of them really did strike gold in a literal sense, I feel that there's a lot of metaphor for you where you've allowed yourself to be transplanted into this frontier, in a sense, into this new reality where you're really on the brink of things, on the leading edge of things, as we might say, where you're involved in this kind of gold rush, meaning this process of tapping into that raw creative material within yourself and transmuting it into gold. And the quote that came through is, there's always the most powerful potential value in being the first one out. So the ones who really struck gold in the gold rush were the ones who had the courage to be there early. And so it's almost like you are someone who's early to an idea or early to creating something or to a process or to something that, again, almost walks that line between being crazy and being ingenious. And it's because you have the courage to walk this line, to be the first one out, so to speak, that you are going to receive back so much value and abundance and recognition from whatever you're doing or creating. For some of you, you might already be experiencing that, but if that isn't happening yet, then know this is going to be happening as you continue along this pathway. The words raw power, but also raw material and core work were coming out here. So there's almost this sense of, again, there being this raw creative material within you that you can tap into. But I'm also getting a message around really creating structure around tapping into that, giving yourself the opportunity for that core work. I'm not sure what your core work is specifically. I feel for some of you, this may be something you're doing energetically to set the tone for your day. This may be a certain routine, a ritual. This may be connecting with nature, doing yoga, doing meditation, whatever this is, but this also could be something very literally creative. For example, if you're a musician, this could be time where you are just completely immersed in creating music in that flow state. For others of you, of course, take it however it connects, but this feels like this core creative time where you're pulling forth this raw material seems to be extremely important, but possibly easy to underestimate or easy for other people to underestimate, even though it seems to be the most important part of this whole creative process, if that makes sense. So again, I feel like I'm speaking to a very, very specific collective here, but I hope this has been connecting for you. I also quickly want to discuss this shifting of phases that has been coming up here. And I'm getting that if this message is for you, you've actually been feeling this within yourself. I probably don't have to tell you that the phases have shifted because you've been sensing it. Now, of course, it doesn't happen all at once. Whenever we shift into a new phase, spiritually speaking, in our lives, it's much more of a gradual process. We begin to get these glimpses of something new happening, get these inklings, these slight pulls, these new desires in this new direction that feel very different from what we may have gravitated to in the past. And that's a sign that we're being pushed into this new phase spiritually. But when I was channeling into this shifting of the phases, what came out is that this previous phase has been charging up a battery, my guides were saying. Now, of course, this is metaphoric. It's like your spiritual battery. I'm also getting the word healing. So for many of you, I feel this was a time of really doing shadow work, doing inner work, allowing yourself to feel absolutely everything, maybe for the first time in your life, really giving yourself that time and space. This was a time of spiritual activation after spiritual activation, many of which really required you to be alone to fully process all of that very intense energy. This has been a very emotionally charged time, at moments a very lonely time, but also very empowering and healing as well on this deep level. But now the sense we've been getting as we shift is that the battery has been charged. There's this new feeling of energization coming up where we're feeling more inspired, more energized, desiring to actually do something with that energy that we've kind of recharged like a battery. Maybe you've been starting to get new ideas, new thoughts on maybe how you want to create in the world. This could be socially, how you want to connect with others, how you want to put yourself out there more or share yourself more. And there's almost this hesitancy as we move into that, like, is this right? Because it's so different from the phase that we're coming out of. But I'm hearing you can trust the exhilarating pull in these new directions. It's guiding you into this new phase that we're shifting into, where the things that you create and do and the ways you connect with others are going to be extremely powerful because you took the time in the previous phase to really charge up the battery here, so to speak. Now, I know that this is going to seem like a bit of a random place to close the reading. I know that this is going to maybe be a little bit of a different tone than what we've been talking about, or maybe it relates to something that's you've been doing or creating, because the quote that I got here is, you are speaking words of light to others. And I don't know if this is something you're doing through how you're actually speaking literally, or maybe it's through things you're creating, the way that you interact with others. But I just really feel someone needed to know that whatever you're doing is speaking light to others in some way. Now, the thing that I feel may kind of shift the tone here is actually someone who popped up at the very end of this kind of download session that I was having. And this is someone who has been watching you in all of this. I feel at somewhat of a distance. This could be someone watching you spiritually in the quantum realm, meaning a soul you're connected to but haven't met yet in the physical. This also could be someone that you know, but that kind of is on the outskirts of your life or in and out of your life or a little bit at arm's length. This person watches you or senses these shifts within you with a mix of admiration and also a little bit of intimidation. And my guides were saying that even though we kind of completed the thought on this video, that is going to be the jumping off point in the next reading video, which will be our Monday collective reading premiering at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. So we will be starting off that video by talking about this person who's been quote unquote watching you with a mix of admiration and intimidation. So if you want to join in for those messages, of course, I recommend subscribing so you get notified when that reading goes live. I do live collective readings, or I should say live premiered, pre-recorded readings that premiere every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I have been doing more of these kind of so-called mini readings in between these main collective reading videos. So let me know how you've enjoyed some of the readings that I've been doing recently, how everything has been connecting for you. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself. And if you do want to check out my Ultimate Alchemist Transformation Subliminal to really help you begin manifesting the life of your dreams using your subconscious mind, the link to download my Subliminals app is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. Otherwise, I am sending you all huge amounts of love and light energy. Have an amazing remainder of your day and start to your Monday. And I will connect with you here again in the next collective reading video.